Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're unpacking a massive story shaking up the Middle East. Former President Donald Trump is back in the spotlight, pushing a bold plan to end the war in Gaza as he gears up for high-stakes talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Is this a breakthrough or just another headline? Let's dive in and find out. Trump dropped a bombshell on Truth Social, calling this a golden opportunity for peace in the Middle East. He's hyping up a big plan, saying he's got strong support from both Israeli and Arab leaders. But not everyone's buying it. Hamas is calling it a smokescreen to cover up what they describe as a genocide in Gaza, and they say no official ceasefire proposal has crossed their desk. Meanwhile, Netanyahu's keeping things vague, saying the deal's not locked in yet, but giving Trump major props on Fox News. Check this out. That's some serious admiration from Netanyahu. But what's the actual plan? To break it down, we're heading to Jerusalem to connect with our Middle East expert, Yolan Nell. Yolan, what's the word on this proposal? Thanks for the intro. Nothing's been officially released, but some insiders claim they've gotten a peek at a draft of Trump's 21-point roadmap. Here's what we've heard. If a deal is signed, Israel's military operations in Gaza would stop immediately. Within 48 hours, all 48 remaining hostages, 20 of whom are believed to be alive, would be freed, along with the remains of others. Hamas would have to dismantle its entire weapon stockpile, something they've flat-out rejected before without a guarantee of an independent Palestinian state. Here's where it gets interesting. Hamas fighters who pledged to live peacefully could stay in Gaza, while others would have the option to leave. This is a big shift from Trump's February pitch, which floated turning Gaza into a U.S.-run coastal paradise and relocating all 2 million Palestinians. The new plan focuses on economic revival led by Trump, with an international oversight body, spearheaded by the U.S., and a Palestinian technocratic council. There's also talk of a revamped Palestinian Authority stepping in down the line, backed by a temporary stabilization force with Arab nations pitching in. But it's still a work in progress, with plenty of details to iron out. Wow, that's a lot to unpack, Yolan. Trump's talking up support from Arab leaders. Does that mean Egypt and Qatar? What's their take? Yolan, exactly. Trump sat down with Egyptian and Qatari mediators last week during the UN General Assembly, calling it his top meeting of the day. They reviewed his 21-point plan and had some input. Qatar, for example, wants guarantees that Israel won't launch another attack on their soil, like the one targeting Hamas leaders earlier this month. Both countries are pushing for Palestinians to have a bigger say in the transitional governance. The fact that Trump and Netanyahu are planning a joint press conference after their closed-door talks suggests they're ready to unveil something big. Host, thanks, Yolan. Now let's check in with our Gaza correspondent, Rushi Yabalu, joining us from Istanbul. Rushi, what's Hamas saying about this, and where do they stand right now? Hamas isn't mincing words. They say they haven't seen any official proposal from mediators like Egypt or Qatar, and they're calling Trump's plan a diversion from the violence in Gaza. On the ground, Hamas has been hit hard over the past 2 years, especially in southern Gaza, like Khan Yunis and Rafah. They claim they still have about 5,000 fighters ready to resist, led by a 5-member leadership count. Thanks, Rushi. We'll be glued to that White House meeting for the latest. But let's shift gears to another urgent issue, the occupied West Bank. It's flying under the radar compared to Gaza, but the situation there is heating up fast. The West Bank, sitting along the Jordan River, is the larger of the 2 Palestinian territories alongside Gaza. It's recognized as part of the state of Palestine by 156 countries, including the UK, and borders Israel and Jordan. Since October 7, 2023, violence has skyrocketed. The UN reports an average of 4 attacks per day by hardline Jewish settlers. Israel's also ramped up settlement expansion and tightened restrictions on Palestinian movement, including shutting down the only crossing to Jordan, effectively trapping over 2 million people. Since October 2023, 995 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank by Israeli forces or settlers, including 180 this year, with at least 37 children among them. Trump's plan reportedly includes a commitment from Israel not to annex the West Bank, which is a huge concern for locals. Yolan, What's daily life like for Palestinians there right now? It's tough and getting tougher. The West Bank's been overshadowed by Gaza, but Palestinians here are feeling the squeeze. Economically, they're in a dire spot. The Palestinian Authority, which runs parts of the West Bank, depends on tax revenues collected by Israel under the Oslo Accords. Israel's been withholding those funds, claiming they're tied to payments for Palestinian prisoners or attackers' families. The authority says it's overhauled that system, but the money's still not flowing, leaving public workers unpaid for months. Before the war, thousands of Palestinians worked in Israel or its settlements, bringing in vital income. Now, most of those work permits are gone, citing security concerns. Places like Bethlehem, which rely on tourism, are ghost towns because of the conflict. The Palestinian Authority is also catching heat for corruption and weak leadership, though they've scored points with more countries recognizing Palestine as a state. Rushi, with the UN reporting 4 settler attacks a day, what's being done to protect Palestinians and their land in the West Bank? It's a grim picture. Rural Palestinians, especially farmers gearing up for the olive harvest, face relentless settler attacks, burned cars, uprooted trees, and stone throwing. The Palestinian Authority is slammed for not doing enough, and many say Israeli forces often shield settlers instead of stopping them. I saw this myself in West Bank villages a couple of years ago. Locals have almost no way to protect themselves and risk arrest if they try. Frustration's boiling over, with many questioning why the authority keeps cooperating with Israel on security when it doesn't seem to help. Yolan, Rushi, thank you for shedding light on this. The UN General Assembly is holding a special session today on the West Bank, so we'll keep you posted. Trump's peace plan could be a turning point, but with Hamas, Israel, Arab mediators, and the West Bank's growing crisis, the road to peace is anything but simple. That's our deep dive for today. Do you think Trump's plan has a shot at peace, or is it just talk? Let me know in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more global breakdowns. See you next time.